So now we will consider 2017, right? I was already doing a problem, right? December 2017, advanced level, Sri Lankan advanced level, right? Combined maths paper part 2, right? Applied maths. Question number 11, part A, right? Okay, so let's discuss this part A, right? Now this is about projectiles, right? So now I will simply tell you the problem, right? So now this is the ground, right? This is the ground, right? And we have, let's say, something like a beam, right? Something like a beam, or let's say something like a post or something like a beam or whatever, right? Some post is there, right? Okay, this is a post, right? And the height of the post is A, right? Okay, and this post is like positioned right at the center. This post is positioned at the center of a pond, right? At the center of a pond. What is the radius now? You will observe that when you observe it from the top view, right? And what is the radius of this pond? That is 2, right? So the pond will continue like that. If you observe from the top, you will see something like that, and this is where the post is there, right? The post or the beam is there, right? Okay. And now a particle is projected with a velocity of u, right, at an angle of pi divided by 4, right? Okay. And right. So now in this problem, they ask us, what do they ask? Right. So now when this particle is projected, right, it will follow a path like that, right? And at a one particular point that it will touch the ground. This is the ground, right? At one particular point it will touch the ground, right? So then what is this? This is the range R. Okay. What is this? This is the range. So now they ask us to prove. They ask us to say that the range is given by gr squared minus u squared r minus u squared a, right? The range is given by this equation equals 0. Now it's a very simple thing, right? So now let's apply. Okay, now you know that this motion we can divide into like two segments, right? Horizontal motion and vertical motion, right? Okay, now let's write for vertical motion, right? Vertical motion along the upward direction, up, right? So now I will apply s equals ut plus half at squared, but here the a is the gravitational acceleration that will act along the downward direction, right? So but as when you are going to apply this on the upward direction, the acceleration will be minus g, right? What is u? U is the upward velocity. That means u cos theta, u sin theta. U sin theta means u sin 5 by 4 is the upward velocity, right? So u sin pi by 4 means sin 45 degrees times t plus half at squared will become minus half g t squared, right? Got it? So that means sin 45 is u divided by root 2, u divided by root 2 times t minus half gt squared. Now what is the ultimate displacement when it reaches the ground? See, it is starting from here. When it reaches the ground, the ultimate vertical displacement will be minus a, right? See, it goes below, right? So the ultimate vertical displacement will be minus a, right? So that is how you should solve it, right? So minus a equals this, and weight, right? And weight. Now let's consider for the range. For that you have to consider the horizontal motion. You have to consider the horizontal motion, right? Then apply s equals ut plus half at squared along the vertical direction, but not vertical, along the horizontal direction, right? So now along the horizontal direction, when you are going to find the range, is there any acceleration toward that direction? No. So this part will not come, right? So s is actually the range. R equals, what is the velocity component along the horizontal direction? That is the u cosine component, right? U cos 5 by 4, that means u cos 45 times t. T is the time taken for the total motion. What is t? That's the time taken for the total motion, right? So r equals u divided by root 2 times t. So what is time? That you can subject from here. So what is time? Time equals root 2 r divided by u. Time is root 2 r divided by u. So now that one you can just substitute over here, right? Okay, that part you can just substitute over there. Then what you will get? See that t value. Please substitute over there. That means you will be getting minus a equals u divided by root 2. What is t? Root 2 r by u. Root 2 r divided by u. Then minus half g t squared. T squared means 2r squared divided by u squared. So then this root 2 will cancel. Then minus a equals what? Minus a equals u also you can cancel, right? U also you can cancel. The minus a equals r minus half g 2r 2 also you can cancel, right? So you'll be getting minus g r squared divided by u squared. G r squared divided by u squared, right? So just multiply both the sides by u squared minus a u squared r u squared minus g r squared, right? So then take 0 to one side, right? We'll just take 0 to one side. Take all the sides to one side and keep other side 0. So then you will be getting what? Let's put this side as 0, right? So then r u squared minus g r squared. If you take this side into the other side, it will be positive a u squared, right? But according to the given problem, the r must be obtained as a positive value, right? So then it will be g r squared. Take to this side g r squared. Then minus r u squared minus a u squared equals 0, right? G r squared, yeah, we are getting g r squared. Good. Then minus u squared r, then minus u squared a, yeah. So now we have obtained that, right? So that is one part, right? So they tell us to obtain the equation for range. So what is this? This is actually a quadratic equation, right? So that is how we are going. Okay, so now we have obtained a quadratic, right? So now we have obtained a quadratic equation, right, for the range, right? So what is range? Range is r, right? You know that, right? So now because now this is the radius of the point, that is 2a, right? You know that. And this is the height of that post, right? Having height of a, and the particle is projected from here, right? So at a velocity u, this angle is 45 degrees, right? Okay. So now this is the path, right? So what is this one? This one is actually the range, right? The maximum horizontal length, right? Okay. So now just look at this quadratic equation that you have obtained for the range, right? So now if you carefully focus that, you can see that this is something that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? This is something that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So now see here, a is something that looks like g, b is something that looks like minus u squared, c is something that looks like minus u squared a, right? Then what is the general solution of this? Because now we have to find the general solution for r, right? So what is the general solution of that? Because now you know that if the quadratic equation takes this form, what will be the general solution? X equals minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? So here what will be the general? What is the solution for minus b? Now here b is something like minus u squared, so minus b means u squared, right? Plus or minus b squared, see, minus u squared means u to the power 4 minus 4ac, see, minus 4 into a into c. Now see here there is a negative part, so minus into minus will become positive, right? So it will be positive 4ag u squared divided by twice a. Now a is something that looks like g in the problem according to the answer that you have obtained for range, so it will be 2g. Now carefully focus. Now if you are going to consider a quadratic equation, we know that there are two answers that we are going to obtain. What? Generally we are going to obtain two answers, right? So one is that first answer is x1 equals minus b plus b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? And the other answer is that x2 equals minus b negative b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? Okay, right? So now logically focus, right? Now think logically. But here, if you are going to consider this, the negative type answer, logically, why we should not consider u squared minus square root of u to the power 4 plus 4 ag u squared? Why we should not consider the one with the negative sign, right? So let me tell you. Now you know that we have two answers, right? So now let's consider if you are going to consider r equals u squared negative square root u to the power 4 plus 4 ag u squared divided by 2g. Now be very careful. Now if u is greater than 1, right? If u is greater than 1, it is quite clear that u to the power 4 is definitely greater than u squared, right? It's not a doubt, right? It's very sure, right? So if you have something u to the power 4 and taking the square root of that, then definitely that must be same as u squared, right? If you have something u to the power 4 and if you are going to take the square root of that, considering only the positive answer, right? Considering only the positive answer, if you take the square root of u to the power 4, that is same as u squared, right? And just imagine you have something u to the power 4 and if you take the square root of that, you know that it is u squared. But say if you have something like u to the power 4 plus some additional positive thing. See, what are the additional positive things? What do you mean by that? 4ag u squared is definitely additional positive things, right? Because 4 is greater than 0, a is greater than 0, g is greater than 0. Now u, the velocity, see, u squared, right? So that means you are adding something, another, like you are adding some positive things, right? Right. So if you are going to take the square root of u to the power 4, some additional positive things, right? So definitely this answer, definitely if you are going to consider square root of u squared plus 4ag u squared will be definitely greater than this u squared. So if you take the negative answer, then you will get a negative answer for the range. Okay, right. So now that is why we don't have to worry about the negative answer, right? We should not consider that. So then r equals, this is the only answer that you can consider for the range. R equals u squared plus square root u to the power 4 plus 4ag u squared divided by 2g will be the answer, right? So now the next part is that they want us to justify that, right? They want us to prove logically that if this u squared, right, if this u squared is greater than 4 by 3 ga, that this particle will not fall onto the product, right? That means now here you can see this u squared term is there, right? So if it is given that this u squared is greater than 4 by 3 ga, that this particle will not fall onto the pond, right? So that means, right, here we are going to use a very simple logic, right? That means like at advanced or combined mathematics students, right, you must be able to apply this logical, this kind of logical approaches, right? So that means, right, okay, so this is my approach. Now let's say you are going to consider u squared equals 4 by 3 ga, right? Let's think that you are going to consider u squared equals 4 by 3 ga, right? If you are going to consider u squared equals 4 by 3 ga, the answer for the range that you are getting is 2a. That means you are done. Right? If it is exactly at this value, if you are getting the answer for the range is 2a, that means if it is greater than, if u squared is greater than 4 by 3 ga, definitely it will go beyond the range. See, beyond the range, right? So it's very easy, right? So it is very easy. Just put u squared equals 4 by 3 ga. So r equals 4 by 3 ga. Okay, right? Then plus square root symbol. 4 by 3 ga means now you have to do the simplifications, right? So here doesn't matter. Take u squared as a factor, right? U squared as a factor means u squared times u squared plus 4ag, right? See, you are getting at the denominator, you are getting something like u squared times u squared plus 4ag. Now let's simplify like that, right? So now what is u squared? That is 4 by 3 ga times u squared 4 by 3 ga plus what? plus 4GA, that means 4AG, 4GA, okay, then divided by 2G. Let's simplify this one. See, you can simplify this one. What is the least common multiple is 3, right? Multiplying denominator by 3, that you know, right? I don't have to teach you these things. So this will become 4 into 3, 12. So 12 plus 4 is 16, right? So it will be 16GA divided by 3. This answer will be 16GA divided by 3, right? Right, okay. So now we have obtained up to here, right? The question paper, right? Now we have obtained this. Now we have to be very careful in the simplifications, right? So now what is our target? If you could obtain r equals 2a for this value, when you put u squared equals 4 divided by 3GA, that means we are done, right? Okay, so now let's simplify, right? 4 by 3 divided by GA, right? See, 4 by 3 GA times 16 GA, that means it will be inside this square root symbol. 16 into 4 is 64, right? 3 into 3 is 9. 64 divided by 9 GA, that means G squared A squared, right? Divided by 2G. So 4 by 3 GA. What is the square root of 64? What will be the square root of 64? 8 squared is 64. You know those things, but I am telling those simple steps also, right? Square root of 64 will be 8. Now be very careful here. You are going to consider the positive answer only, right? Here you are only going to consider the positive answer, right? So it will be 8. Square root of 9 will be 3. So 8 divided by 3. G squared A squared. So what is the square root of G squared A squared? That is GA. So 8 divided by 3 GA will be the answer if you take the square root of that divided by 2G. So 4 plus 8 is, that is 12, right? So 12 GA divided by 3 divided by 2G, right? So now you can easily cancel, right? 3 times 1, 3 times 4, 2 times 1, 2 times 2. 2GA divided by G, right? G to 0, so you can cancel. So answer is 2A, right? So now see, now carefully see that now if you consider u squared equals 4 divided by 3 GA, now you are getting the answer of the range as r equals 2A, right? So that is how you should think logically, right? So that means now in case if u squared is actually greater than 4 divided by 3 GA, that means definitely there is no doubt that r is greater than 2A. That means definitely this particle will not fall onto the pond region, right? It will definitely go beyond the radius 2A, right? So that is how you should think.